Hey everybody, welcome back to the Hobby Lodge. It is that time again. Let's do another Hobby Lodge tour and I can show you all the awesome things that have changed since I last did one of these. I said there was going to be some big changes and there certainly has been. So let's get in there and take a look. Let me kick off with a little sweep of the room and I'll talk about some of the changes as we go. But if I give you a broad sweep, to give you an idea of the space we're working with, lots has changed. As I said, I wanted there to be some big changes this year, and this is what we went with. So I'll go around each area and I'll talk about what's different. Of course, some of it is the same, but when I talk you through what we did do, hopefully you'll see the difference. But yes, really happy with how the room is looking. It's been its best ever. So we'll start in this corner where there's been some changes. So we brought in this new little cabinet for all of my handhelds. So you can see on top here we have Mario, we have a 2DS, a PS Vita, an old DS, a Game Boy Color, some Switch games, an original Game Gear, unmodded. I do have another one that is modded, and then DS and PSP. And this was a nice way for me to just have that so that I could create space elsewhere in the room, which we'll show later on. Behind that also, which is nice because it's kind of hidden away now, is all of the 3D printers. So we have the Anycubic Wash and Cure, we have the Elegoo Mars Pro resin printer, and of course the Anycubic filament printer there, which has been hard at work this year. It has done a lot of good stuff for the lodge. Right, and also on top we have this awesome collection of RoboForce robots. I used to collect these and I had these when I was a kid. They're quite obscure, not many people know about them, but they're really cool toys and I'm glad to have a selection of them here. Also, we have this kind of display piece from my Commodore collection as well. Well, we've had to move some stuff from here, but This is the Commodore Maxi, so not an old machine by any stretch of the imagination. It's a replica of the bread bin and the Commodore Maxi. And this here is the Commodore 64C, but the Australian variant, so a slightly different looking case. Of course, my childhood Terminator joystick there, looking awesome. And then below that we have the Hit Squad collection. So this year I've been doing lots of videos on this, and this is almost complete. Now you can see 3 gaps. In reality there is only 1 gap, and it's the gap right there. I do actually have the 2 that go in there, and my friend is currently looking after those until I can see him. So yeah, we are 1 away from the full set collection. And then here I've just got my various t-shirts hanging up for the various shows that I do. So the Hit Squad t-shirts there, the Monday Night Retro t-shirts there, there's a Commodore and an Amiga t-shirt just hanging up. In pride of place, as always, the Hobby God bag, something that I was awarded by the guys over at beastsofwar.com for all of the hobby stuff I've done with them in the past, and I got awarded that bag. So now it would make sense to talk about the table. Now the table's always been here, but maybe you've noticed that it's changed direction. This actually used to go long ways across the room, and now it is heading outwards from the table. So what it means is that whilst we've lost a small gangway down the side there and under the television, which no one ever walked down or stood by, we've gained an awful lot of room around the table. So because of this way it's orientated, it's a lot more narrower and gives us a lot more space. This was a very small gangway here before, and we've now got lots more room for just like the changes that we've made, and also even playing games. So we're currently getting ready for the new edition of 40k here. The table's being set up, the miniatures are being painted, and yes, we're really enjoying this orientation. I don't know why I didn't do this in the first place. I think the lengthway table in my head felt like it was better, but actually this is a much better way around of having it. We've got space to do other activities on the table, so gaming plus the wargaming. So yeah, this is the big change that happened with the change of the table and created a lot more space. And literally all we lost was a few feet down the back there to move some stuff around. It still means we can have the shelving for the various consoles around the television, the big TV. We've added a few more shelves, even a shelf there for the Switch to go on. And I'm really chuffed with how this part of the room turned out. So yeah, over in this corner then, what changed was the big book cabinet has gone. So there was a cabinet here with loads of board games and things like that on. That has moved. And what's moved in place now is the glass display cabinet that was in another area of the room, which is moved to free up another piece of space. So here now, we've got all of my Amiga games up the top here. Whole load of them there. Screens for various consoles. And we now have a load of hooked up systems. Before, I used to have to unplug and plug in systems as and when I needed them. But now I have ready to go the Wii for both Wii and GameCube. The Wii U, obviously for Wii U games. The Super Nintendo, I'm really happy I've got that permanently set up now. The PlayStation 3, which is backwards compatible with PS1 and PS2. So that plays all of those systems. The Xbox One S, so this will play Xbox 360, and original games on the Xbox. We have down here another Xbox for those games that aren't compatible. The Sega Saturn, the Sega Dreamcast, the Panasonic 3DO, and the 360. All ready to go. And one of the things I'm really happy about this, I forgot to say, there's also a sneaky PS2 on the side here. And what I'm really chuffed about all of this is because I can run it to either this screen, or this screen, or this screen, or the capture card. I can do anything I like with the various combinations of outputs I have down there. I'm able to use this as my light gun alley. So now when I'm stood here, I can plug in, turn on the PlayStation 2 or whatever console I want to use, grab the relevant light gun, stand all the way back here, and I now have a light gun alley that I really wanted to build. So I'm really chuffed about this because it means I can stand here and shoot away at the screen, because I love light gun games. So I'm really happy that I've got that how I wanted it. So yeah, this is another big change that's happened. Various Mario little figures here. The Light Seeker models This is a toy range that came out with a video game, and unfortunately it died. But actually I think probably the toys are fairly rare to find. And they all light up and stuff. They have like voice packs in them and all sorts. And there we go. On the desk we have a gaming laptop. This is what my son primarily uses when he's in here. He loves to play on the gaming laptop. Another change is we have this cabinet in place now. So 3D printed racking for all of these cartridge games. So I only collect cartridge only games. I don't collect the boxes. And it's nice with Mega Drive because all of the labels are showing the name of the game. So have these 3D printed rackings for them all to go in. Same with the Game Gear, just nicely 3D printed racking for all the Game Gear games to go into. And then this cabinet here, got some DVDs on the top there, this Mario light, and then we're into some NES games. These are actually going to move into some other 3D printed racking, but they're there for now, so I don't have to do things like this where I've got games in front of games. They will go where the other games have gone. PlayStation, Sega Mega Drive, Master System, plus my new edition. This is a modded, I don't think it's got any batteries in it. It is a modded Game Gear with a new screen in it, and it is lovely to play. It has really brought back to life the Game Gear. Sega Saturn games, Dreamcast games. So yeah, really happy with how that's turned out. Over here, this is where the book cabinet moved to. So the cabinet that had all the board games gone has moved next to my work desk and has a lot of stuff on it. So at the top, we've got some toys and my World of Warcraft collection, including my 10-year statue, BlizzCon, and obviously the expansions and the original game that came out. He-Man is there, He-Man and Skeletor. I've decided not to go crazy with toys. I want a spattering of games. I want a small collection of toys. The odd figure here and there, figures that mean a lot to me. So obviously He-Man and Skeletor there with Battle Cat and Panther. Below that we have the micro consoles. So the micro consoles I think are super cool. I have them plugged in around various places, but all of these are ready to go. So I have the power hookups for them. The nice thing about them is they just use those micro USBs. So I have those magnetic connectors in the back so that I can just stick them on any one of the power leads, as all the power leads in here are magnetic, and they just clip on and off very easily. And then just some toys that mean a lot. So Visionaries, awesome toy that I had when I was a kid. So I've just got a couple of Visionaries there. In the background, some old X-Men. I can remember buying these with my nan, these exact 3 figures. So I wanted to re-get these, so I had them. Iceman is not sealed, he's still just, the box is actually broken, but I've kept him in there just because it just looks nice. And I've got obviously Sabretooth and Wolverine there, and these were ones that I can remember the day I went out with my nan when I was quite young, maybe a little bit too old for toys, but still, you're with your nan, she wanted to get you something, so we picked up these 3 figures and I played with them an awful lot. And then below that, we've got lots more games and models and things that need work. These are future projects that at the moment I haven't got around to doing, but hey, we've all got future projects to work on. Over on the desk we have some Battle Beasts, another awesome sort of pocket money collectible when you're a kid. And then I have obviously where I work every day, but also make videos and play games and do everything else. So the thing we've changed here is we now have the Amiga 1200, which is fully restored and upgraded, permanently plugged in now, so I can use this at any time. Got a nice little disc box there with some discs in, and as you can see, it's on the screen right here. Also being captured. Again, everything can be captured and streamed and all those things. There's the main screen there. We have a spare Commodore 64 disk drive, and this is for when I want to create my own discs. So I use an adapter to plug into my PC, and then I can create my own discs for the Commodore 64. Again, some cool toys in the Turtles. This is a MacBook Pro that I used in a closed manner, so it's just on the wall there hooked up, but again it outputs to the PC so that I can use it when I want and do what I used to do. We obviously have the Retron 5 there. This is a great machine if you just want to play a whole bunch of different console games and then capture them to whatever it is you're doing. So a really handy machine this, and I'm really glad I've got one. And I love the colours of it as well. It's fantastic looking. Bunch of hookups there for, again, connecting up the gaming laptops and stuff. Underneath you actually see my PC, and next to it is actually a really old PC. So this is running Windows XP, and this is for when I want to use like Windows XP for some of those older games. But yeah, this is where I spend most of my time, because I'm sat in my chair and I am either working or doing stuff here. So this is I'm really happy again with how this has turned out. And then we come over to the hobby desk. So this is where all the painting happens. So sometimes if you see me streaming live painting, this is where I'm sat, and you can see it's just got all of the stuff you need. So I've got a screen obviously for watching my stream, watching the chat, controlling things there. I have cameras that I use old mobile phones a lot of the time. So this is an old Samsung 10, I think it is, but they have really great cameras in, especially great cameras for close-up. So when you're painting, I just have this turned on and it's capturing all of the video for the painting that I'm doing. But yeah, this is just the painting desk. Nothing new's really changed here. This is just as it was. It doesn't really need to change. It's perfect for what I need for when I am painting the models I'm painting. So now we come to one of the biggest changes in the room. So those things that I moving the cabinet from here to where I work on the other side, moving the display cabinet over there as well. This has allowed me to create this space in the corner, which I have dubbed Commodore Corner, and I'm so blimmin' happy that I have it. Before I used to have the Commodore just on the gaming table. It just used to be laying on the table and I'd plug it into the TV and use it. But now I have this permanent space where I've created like a little corner of the late 80s, early 90s, if I can try and do it. And I'm just really chuffed that I now have this permanently set up. So yeah, if I take you over, essentially what happened was I used some of these storage bins that I used to have all stuff in, created a corner environment, and then got a piece of wood made to the exact size I needed to. Then creates this corner desk for everything to go in. And as you can see, I mean, it's already getting quite crowded in there, but I absolutely love how it's looking. Some 3D printed brackets. Told you the 3D printer's been busy. These brackets are up there to hold my various systems up, and it means that I can have any one of the 3 generations of Commodore plugged in on there. So I can have the Commodore 16, the Commodore 64, or that Amiga 600. Now, the reality is I'd always use the Amiga 1200, but it's nice to have the option there if I want to use it. But yeah, we have some old school bits on the desk, like the cheeseburger phone. I mean, you know, just in case you need to make a call. Just other bits and pieces. The monster in my pocket on the shelf there, another classic sort of 80s 90s collectible. The muscle men from the retro realm there, as you can see. A piece of awesome artwork here for Hawkeye. Bit of an original artwork for a bit of an awesome original Commodore 64 game. And yeah, just the tapes up on the side. At some point, the Hit Squad collection may move over here, but for the moment, I've just got all the other games. So lots and lots of homebrew, and lots of other Commodore games, especially discs. As you know, I am a big lover of the disc system. Just loads and loads and loads of discs. Everything here again, bit of a common theme. Everything is always ready for streaming and capturing. So I can stream from this corner, hence the camera there, the microphone, and also that old iPad, which I use for controlling the stream. I can sit here and do live streams from here and not have to go over to the other desk. So I really like that whatever I do, I always ensure that everything can be captured, everything can be streamed, everything can go to a TV if I need it to, and it works really, really well. So one thing you may have noticed, apart from a spattering of games every now and then, where have all my other games gone? Where have the PlayStation 5, PlayStation 3, PC, Xbox, GameCube, just all of the games? There is nowhere in here where you can see a big stack of games. And that's because one day when I was looking around in here, I thought, where am I not using space? And it turns out I wasn't using space in the ceiling. So I have all of this space up here in the ceiling that I could have been using and I wasn't. So now I am. Using my 3D printer, I've printed out these brackets right here, which basically hold a game in by its end and means that everywhere where I have a beam, I can now put all of my games. So here we have all of my Super Nintendo games. We have PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4. If we turn around, we have Wii games, PlayStation 2, Xbox 360, PC, Wii. It just goes on and on and on. Across every beam, I've printed out these brackets, which was a lot of brackets and a lot of 3D filament. But it means now all of my games are in a place where it's so much easier to see them because all the spines are showing. They're easy to get hold of. You would think there's no sort of getting one out to pull one down. They just slide out, get the game, and when you finish with it, slide it back in again. And I can do this for every system that I own, so that all of my games are now in the ceiling and I'm not having to have, well, lots of shelving. Really happy with this change. I haven't seen anyone else do this, so I'm going to claim it as my original idea. But hopefully, if you've got space to do something like this, maybe you'll consider it, because I think it's a great way of storing all of your games out of the way. But yeah, that's where all the games have gone. So I have a little wander around there and you can see how the room has transformed through these changes. Obviously, big thing, changing of the table, the various cabinets moving into just better locations in the room, the creation of Commodore Corner, this space that to me is my childhood. That is where I would have, if I'd had that when I was a kid, it would have blown my mind. But I've now got a permanent place to use my favourite systems. I cannot get over how much it has improved compared to what it was. The moving of all the games into the ceiling, which has made so much space from what I had before. This piece here now, where I have this kind of working environment with all of my favourite systems good to go. I've got a collection of various toys and games that I'm enjoying. I just cannot express how much better it is in here. The space I've regained from just simple things is huge, and it's just tidier, it's more organized, it's just a great space. And yeah, I'm really happy with how it has turned out. So yeah, what comes next, I really don't know. You know, will my next room tour in a year's time be just as interesting? I don't know. Did you find this one interesting, I guess, is the question. But I'm really happy with how it's turned out. I'm really enjoying being in the lodge. And yeah, I will see you on the next one. All right, bye-bye.